Welcome back everybody, Green Assassin here with my crash landing tutorial. This will be part 2. I'm still having audio issues with my mic and whatnot. If you guys have any suggestions on how I can fix it, please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. I'm using Action Record, and I'm using the default in-program record for the mic, so I'm thinking of maybe trying to record my mic on a separate track through just a basic default Windows recorder and seeing if that helps. I don't want to try it until after this tutorial's done, just in case something messes up and all the syncing issues that I'll have to go through in the editing of the video. So hopefully the audio's not too horrible. I'll check it before I upload, and yeah, that's about all I can do. Anyways, the last episode we left off, we had set up all our variables and we had set up our sorting group, or our command group, to sort all the stuff out of the diamond chests into the barrels. So this episode we're going to start working on the main program. The first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to create a trigger. And I'm going to leave it on default settings. I'm just going to put it here in the middle. And then I'm going to create a flow. And I'm going to set it underneath the trigger. And I'm going to go into it. I'm going to go to the connections. And I'm going to split it to 5 outputs. And that'll give me 5 little outputs on the bottom of this flow. So that way I can hook up more stuff to the one trigger. I don't want to overdo it on triggers. I don't want to make a trigger for each operation that I want to do with this. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a command group. And I'm going to open it up, and we're going to call it making water. Like so. And make sure we hit this save button. And then we're going to go into the command group. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a node. And what the node does is it basically makes it so that when you come back out here, you can connect this group to your flow, which is connected to the trigger. So I'm just going to quickly do that right now, and then that way as we're programming it we can check and make sure it's working properly. So now underneath this node I'm going to create another flow, and if I'm not mistaken I want to split this one up into 5. I'm only going to be using 3 of the outputs, but there is no option for 3. There's only 2 and 5. So I'm going to go with 5 outputs. And then I'll only use 3 of these outputs on the bottom. But anyways, we're going to create an input. And I'm just going to put it right here for right now. We're going to go into this input and we're going to select inventories. And we're going to go show all variables. We're going to select the variable for leaves, and then we're going to go into target, and we're going to target the bottom of that variable, and we're going to whitelist leaves. I've got my barrels locked and all that, so I don't think this really matters. I just do it to make sure that that's what this line of command is actually going to do for me. So now I'm going to create an output, and I'm going to put it underneath this input. And for this one we're going to select the fluid transposer, and then we're gonna, for the target, if you look, I have the input set to the back, right? But if we look at our mini map, you'll see that I'm pointing to the south. So that means that this side is the south side of the block of the fluid transposer. So in here on the output, I'm going to want to target the south side of that and activate. I'm just going to pull this up a little bit so it's not dropping below the screen. And now in here, I'm also going to whitelist the leaves again, just to make sure that that's all that it's putting in the fluid transposer, because I've had problems before where it'll put something else in there even though I've asked it to just put leaves. That just ensures that that's all you're going to get in the fluid transposer. So now if we hook this to this and we hook the output to the input of the input and the output to the input of the output, that kind of sounds funny, and we, oh, I didn't mean to actually exit out of that. But if we look, we see that the fluid transposer is now working, and it's got 64 leaves in here, so a stack of leaves, and it's producing water and saplings. Now, if we look at the recipe for this, you're only going to get a 5% chance of getting saplings out of this, and only 100 millibuckets of water. So you need 10 leaves to be transposed into water to get a full bucket. But as you can see, our output of the saplings isn't very high, which kind of sucks, but it's what it is basically. So now the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get those saplings out and back into the barrel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another input, and I'm going to put it directly underneath the flow. And for this one, I'm going to select inventories. I'm going to select the fluid transposer, and I'm going to target the down position is what I'm pretty sure I set that to be. Yep. So that's that. I'm going to blacklist because I want it to pull whatever's in there out. You don't really need to whitelist the saplings because you're only ever going to get saplings in that output. So now we're going to create another output, and we're going to put it directly below the input. And for this one, we're going to select the Show All Variables button. We're going to find the variable for saplings and select it. Go into Target, and we're going to select the down and activate. And I'm not going to whitelist or blacklist anything on this one either. Everything should work out just fine. So now if we connect these up and we take a look, the saplings are gone and they are going into the barrel. So that's all good. So the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm not going to create a normal input or output. I'm going to select one of these liquid inputs. I'm going to bring it over here. And for this input, we're going to select the variable for the water, because that's what I have the drum set up as. If you don't want to set up variables, you can select each drum. The reason I did variables for the drum is that way I can pull one of these off when it's full and place another one down, and then come back in to the inventory manager and go to the variable for my water and reselect the drum, because when you remove one and add one, it's going to deselect it from your variable. So that way I can just reselect that reselect that drum under the variable, and I won't have to go back into this program and change it in there. It'll just automatically know what to do. So we've selected the variable for the water, and we're going to target the downside. Now for these ones, I don't know if you can insert water through the sides of them. I think it's only the top and the bottom, so I'm just going to select the downside. And then here, I probably don't need to, but just in case, I'm going to select water and call that one done. And now I'm going to create, oh no, I fudged that one up. We'll delete that. I'm going to create a create a liquid output. Oh, I did that wrong. Actually, let's take a look at this. This one is not supposed to be the variable. Sorry, that was my bad. This one's supposed to be the fluid transposer, and we don't want to target the down position. We want to target the up position because that's where I have the output for the water in the fluid transposer. The output is the one that you want to select the variable for the water, and then target the down. And if you want, you can whitelist water in here again. I don't think it's necessary, but I'll just do it just cause. So now if we connect these ones up like so, and when we go out here, we'll see that there's no water left in this. Come over here and we'll see that it's all going into this one drum. I think to get it to fill both of these at the same time, I don't exactly know how to do that. You'd probably have to set up a condition or something. I just leave it like this. This works for me. That'll be good enough. The other thing is if you take a drum and you put it on top of here now, it will default all the water that's in here to this drum before it fills this one. So if we watch, well, maybe I'm wrong. I thought it would default, but I guess it puts half and half. Well, this is at 11 buckets and 850 millibuckets. This one's at 12. This one's going, yeah, see, so it's kind of random. Most of your water will go to this barrel or this drum first, but it looks like some of it does end up in this barrel, just depending on if the trigger activates or not. So what is next? So the making water variable is done now, or not variable, but program. So I'm just going to move this over here out of the way for right now. And the next one we are going to do is, I think we're going to do a program for making charcoal next. So let's create another group. We'll just set it down here beside this one. We'll name this one Making Charcoal. We'll save it. We'll go into it. And then the same thing as the last one, we'll just create a node, put it up here in the middle, and then I'm going to create another flow control. We're going to put that one right there, and we're going to switch the connections to split 5 outputs. And I'm just going to connect this quickly, and then go back out here, and I'm going to connect this up to this one. So that way, as we're programming it, we can test it and make sure everything's working properly. So basically just another input. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the inventory or the variables for logs. Target the downside. And I'm going to whitelist wood in this one. Well, I guess I got to click it. Select wood, and we want to find jungle wood because that's the wood we're dealing with. And then we're going to create an output, and for this output we're going to want to go in and we're going to want to find the furnace. So we select the furnace. Let me just move this up so it's a little easier to see. And then we're going to target the up side because that's the side that you got to put whatever you want to end up in here from. It's a vanilla furnace, so you can't really change what side accepts and what side doesn't. So with that, that was my input, that's my output. So we targeted the top side, and now in here I'm gonna whitelist logs because this is the one I had problems with on my last video that I tried making. I didn't whitelist this and I kept ending up with leaves in that top slot of the furnace. So I'm just going to whitelist it to make sure that's all that gets put in there. So now we'll just line those up and we'll connect this and this, and then we'll go check. We have 64 jungle wood in the top of the furnace now. And I'm experiencing some more lag again. Next, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set another input. And this one's going to be for getting the charcoal into the furnace. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the variable for charcoal, target the downside of it, and we're going to whitelist charcoal. We'll select that, and then that one's done. And then with the output, we're going to, let's just move it up here so it's a little bit easier to see when I open it. We're going to select the furnace, and then we're going to pick one of the sides, not the up or the down. We're going to pick, I'm just going to go with the south side. It's the same as the fluid transposer, and that'll just insert it from the back basically. So activate south side. And I don't think it matters. I don't know if you can enter or put stuff in from the front of the furnace, but I'm pretty sure to get stuff into this slot, it's got to be one of these sides, like the side of the furnace, not the top or the bottom. And then here I'm gonna whitelist charcoal again, and that'll just ensure that we only get charcoal in there. But I'm also going to take it one step further, and I'm going to right click on the charcoal, and I'm going to click specify amount, and I'm going to change this amount to 8, which is what it takes to cook a full stack of wood into charcoal. And that'll just make it so it'll only put 8 charcoal in the furnace at a time and keep 8 charcoal in the furnace at all times. And then that way we're not filling it up full of 64 charcoal and it's like waste. Well, I guess it wouldn't be wasting charcoal, but you'll end up with more charcoal in your barrel. Now we only had one piece of charcoal in the barrel to begin with, so it only put one piece in here and it's using it up, and we haven't created the output yet, so let's do that next. And basically it's just going to be another set of inputs, outputs. So in this one, we're going to go target the furnace, and we're going to target the downside of the furnace. Make sure you click the activate, and we're going to whitelist charcoal, even though charcoal will be the only thing in there. I'm just doing it because it defaults to whitelist anyways. And then the output, we are going to want to set up to put into the variable for our charcoal. We'll target the down, activate, and I'm just going to leave it on blacklist because I don't think it'll matter. That variable will only accept charcoal. And now if we connect that, we should look in the furnace and the charcoal's gone. This has gone up to 7. And I took one out, put it in the barrel, and then brought it back to the furnace because it doesn't have 8 in it yet. And if we watch, it'll take it out, and now this is at 8. So that should be working, and we should start to see a surplus of charcoal end up in this barrel now. So how am I doing for time? We're at about 20 minutes. So with that being done, I think I'm going to call that an episode here, and hopefully we'll have enough time in the next episode to do the last 3 commands that I want on this program for this tutorial. If you found this tutorial informative or like this episode, please hit that like button down at the bottom. It really helps me out. If you want to know when the next part of this tutorial or any of my other episodes are coming out, hit that subscribe button and YouTube will send you an email notification of when I have published new videos. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and watching me destroy my harvester. I will see you guys in the next video.